Warning, 18 plus age restriction. This content is intended for mature audiences only and may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
Rise to the challenge with a fist full of dice, and I will not run. Who's that shadow dreaming of far fall? Assholes of tomorrow, or heroes of today?
Hey there, adventurers. The world before you was created by yours truly. My name is Guido Santori, and I will be your host, DM, and Evil Warlock for today's episode. Scott, why don't you roll for initiative? Just kidding, you're the only person here. Why don't you introduce yourself?
But you just told me to roll for. Okay. Scott, I will be the only one playing in tonight's session. And yeah, I will be playing Doink.
Today's sponsor is Santori Wines, made by Santori Vines, make for great times. Now, let's go ahead and open our arms and fall into today's story. You eagerly tune your instrument to match his basic tune. He plays softly, taking his time with his notes. Donovan Gruse's brutish green hands play the instrument with such delicacy, his eyes closed and focused. His hands are only a little sweaty today. Soon you join his melody with the music that weaves together like water. Suddenly the instruments start to pick up and fluid, calming, with a sound that's almost too cool for your ears. Notes hit the sky. Donovan starts patting the side of his lute to the beat, and then you start pounding your foot, matching his percussion, adding thumping to the instruments. Before either of you know it, the song turns into a classic old orcish war song. Its beat is growing and pace increasing and building before both of you bust into a passionate rumble that shakes the world around you. He gets lost in the song and takes his reinforced lute by the neck and slams it into the stone to the beat. Boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom. His orc blood boiling over into savage, beautiful music with you. And then you both abruptly stop, letting the echo carry over the trees from your mountaintop. All the music stops with an echo. You both look at each other with angry faces and start laughing loudly.
Okay, I don't know. I look at him and I try my best to copy what he did, but not giving up early with the lack of success.
Okay, why don't you roll performance?
Yeah.
See what you got.
Okay, well, that kind of changes that. That's looking at a 24, but yeah.
So Donovan, his eyes light up as he looks at you as you start playing your instrument with such passion and stuff. And you start carrying on that war song for some extremely amazing notes, and then you just let it kind of fleetingly end, and he just is sit there almost wanting more, and then he just lets out a big boisterous laugh. Oh, doink! He stands up and he shakes your arm firmly and he grins. There's that orcish grip. And he nearly squeezes the color from your delicate goblin hands. It has been a long time. I miss this doink. You're so quick with your fingers, and he mimics your harp for a second with a joking grin. We should do this again soon.
I've missed your tales of your previous adventures, and I'm very happy that we've been able to do this again. I'm just worried that if I don't, I'm going to let you down.
He says, like, don't worry that much about it, Doink, and he makes a grand sweeping arm gesture to the wonderful view. He says, like, unfortunately, it's starting to get dark, old friend. Then when you look back, he is gone.
Oh.
The sky immediately goes dark, and the woods are creaking and stuff. And then suddenly, you're not even in a place that you really remember. The woods are creaking. You try to remember how you got here. There's a low fog, and color seems to be drained from everything you can see. What is going on? Then it happens. You feel it before you can hear it. A familiar sensation of ice-cold pins and needles creep up your spine. You look behind you and nothing is there. Another snap in another direction. You try to control your jittery movements. Why don't you go ahead and roll perception?
Yeah, you got it. Ooh, okay. Looking at a 13.
13. Yeah, there are just no animal sounds, only a slight wind through the trees. But then you notice something that makes you freeze. About 30 feet away, perfectly lined up with a tree, unmoving like a pallid sculpture, is dead flesh from a creature of your greatest nightmares. It stands still, not moving. It's almost giving you time to take it in. Long, emaciated form, nearly as tall as the trees, patched, gray and white matted fur, antlers, the cold, dead eyes on the stag's head, the humanoid claw-like hands with yellow-tipped fingernails twitch. Maybe, if you hold still, it won't move, just maybe. The unnatural face of this deer, like the abomination it is, hangs slack until it doesn't. Its lips slowly curl upwards, exposing jagged, broken, sharp teeth into a terrifying smile. The unsettling presence of the undead creature moving is like watching something that shouldn't move in reaction to you. Almost like watching a door handle that starts to twist on its own accord. When you move to lock it, it waits.
Okay, I'm gonna start backing up very slowly.
At the slightest movement of you backing up, it erupts into that freakish laughter. As the freaking undead creature it is, it laughs maniacally like a hyena, and convulsions riddle its gangly form. It steps forward. Then, Donovan Gruz appears right next to you. He looks emaciated and weak, and he glares at you with desperation, and he goes, "Run!"
Yes,
and then he
Maestro.
vanishes.
Okay.
Okay, so I want you to go ahead and make an athletics roll,
yeah, I'm gonna.
and then followed by a acrobatics roll.
That's not good. Looking at 3 for athletics.
Okay, so you immediately trip, but what happens with your acrobatics?
Looking at 15.
15, okay.
Yeah.
Your trip turns into a roll as you start moving forward, right?
Yeah.
You start making it through there, right?
Yeah.
This thing takes one long gait.
Quite a bit for a single step.
Yeah, you start to shove through the bushes and bramble, pushing yourself to your maximum speed as sticks and thorns tear away from you as you try your hardest to escape. You make it 60 feet. The thing laughs as it slowly follows you, one long gait after the other. Why don't you roll another acrobatics?
All right, 10.
10. Okay, you start slowing down. You feel this thing creeping up.
Do I have any kind of weapon or anything on me?
You have your legs.
Okay, I'll take it. All right, fine.
You hear the laughter floating behind you as if it's always just a little bit out of reach. Then you hear its voice mimicking Donovan's. I missed this, Doink. We should do this again soon. You make it another 120 feet. It vanishes. You feel this thing, it's
I don't like that.
creeping up on you. It's getting really, I mean, you know it's somewhere there, but you don't know exactly where. You look through the brush, you look through the trees, you just hear twigs snapping and cracking, and bushes start to shake on one side, then the other, and it makes no sense as this thing should be making a beeline towards you. You see a clearing.
Okay. Yeah.
Go for it, roll.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna try and. Oh, that's not good. What stat am I doing here?
You're doing acrobatics.
Acrobatics. That's a 5.
Okay. You feel the wind swipe right before
I'm just struggling
You-
to scramble up that rock and.
you leap. It's more like you could almost taste your own blood before you feel the scratch that hits you. As you leap and you roll, tuck and roll right out into the middle of this clearing, and then you see it's gone again.
That thing just attacked me. How could it be just immediately gone again? Eh?
You look down and you see how incredibly bloody and ripped up you are from running through the thick forest. You look behind you, you see nothing but shadows and trees. The silence is just a little too long before you hear right behind your ear, "It's getting dark, old friend."
Shit. How far does this clearing extend?
You suddenly feel a huge bump in the wagon that you're actually on. It takes a moment for you to snap out of your dreamy haze and gauge reality. It's early evening, so you're not that late. That's a good thing. "We're almost there, old friend. Welcome to Deep Stone." And he points off in the distance. You could see about maybe a 5-minute ride from here, you know? You can see the gates of Deep Stone.
That's the city, yeah?
Yeah, the older elf merchant looks over his shoulder, you know, and you feel the wagon slow to a halt. And he says, "I'm only here to drop off supplies and head out. Are you sure this is the place? After this, I'm headed back to Middleton."
This is where I'm going, apparently.
And you see the gates of Deep Stone, but, you know, you're still pretty far out, you know, and here's some rustling, some bushes.
I'm checking myself still for wounds, though.
You know what? You don't find any wounds on your body except for a long scratch along your back.
Fucking Freddy bullshit here.
And you see you see the rustling from the bushes. You see a couple of men come out.
All right. Well, they look nice.
"Hello, friends!" And they look at each other with a grin before approaching a bit closer.
Salutations.
Why don't you roll perception?
Okay. I'm looking at a 10.
Out of 10? Yeah, you see that they're wearing some kind of uniform. It's a little outdated. You don't really know what it is, but at least you
Nothing I
recognize that
recognize.
much that they must have used to belong to something. The elven man who you've been traveling with speaks up. He says, "How can I help you, gentlemen?" They respond, "We've been watching the roads for orcs and goblins and making sure fine folks such as yourself can get from point A to point B, but looks like this area is clear for you, thanks to my brother and I." And you see these guys come up a little bit closer over here and over here. And he kind of comes directly into your path and stuff.
Okay.
But he kind of sides up to his friend over here as they're just kind of making almost some rounds here.
For the moment, I'm going to avoid drawing attention to myself.
You see your driver puts a hand back to calm your gestures for you to be quiet, and he looks and says, "Well, I thank you for your services. I must be off." They get in the way of the road. "Whoa, hey there, friend. It would be nice to have some appreciation. These are hard times, and a small donation would be nice, and we would continue to keep the roads clear for the likes of you. Anything can happen on the road if you ain't careful, friend." They snicker. The driver tosses a few coins to them, which they eagerly collect. Why don't you do your...
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to tell them, ask them their preferred donation.
There you go. And then he says "Oh, thanks for your donation," you know? And right before they get out of the road, one of them says "Oh, what you got in the wagon, friend?" And then the elven driver says "Well, that is none of your concern." And he They immediately respond, oh no. The way we sees it is that we helped you get here. We should get a small cut of whatever you're bringing. Otherwise, who knows what could have happened? And his twisted smile widens. The driver whistles, signaling you for you to get ready.
Okay. Well, I am going to brace myself for whatever's about to happen, man. So I'm going to actually uncover my instrument.
Okay.
Yeah.
He sees you uncover your instrument. He stands up on the wagon and he says, like, I must warn you, gentlemen, I can handle myself. He stands and he draws his long sword. Okay, so is there anything you want to do before something potentially happens here?
Checking. Is one of them carrying a crossbow?
Yep.
I'd like to blind him.
Okay, well, why don't you... Well, actually, he needs to go ahead and roll. All right, so that is going to be rolling for initiative here.
Okay.
All right. Bum, bum, bum. All right. Okay, so he got a 16. And let's go ahead and keep this tight. I'll keep both of them together, you know, one after the other. I'm going to say that was the crossbow guy's first shot, but he's still going to have to roll.
All right.
Oh. Okay, and is that a wisdom or a
It's a constitution. Constitution.
And what's your DC?
My DC is 15.
This man is blinded, sir.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, he's locking his crossbow and he starts to lift it up towards you as he sees you starting to cast a spell, and then he just goes like, oh, what the? Oh, blast, brother! You know, and you see the other guy stands in front of him and he's like, all right, yeah, you come at me.
All right.
What was your roll in initiative? 6. Oh, so
19
yeah, so
in
you're
total.
gonna go ahead and go first then.
That's 19 in total. So
Okay.
all right.
And I'll have your friend come right after you.
Okay, I'm going to begin my performance. What is how does that buff him again, eh? I can perform to buff the gentleman I'm traveling with, right?
You can cast a spell, use your bard songs, do your stuff.
Yeah, all right. I don't have anything here written about bard songs. That's anyway. Where's my book?
Oh dear.
Actually, no.
Okay, well, you have a wide selection here, sir. You're looking for...
Yes.
There you go.
Let's see. Okay. Bardic inspiration. You can inspire others through stirring words or music. To do so, use a bonus action on your turn to choose one creature other than yourself within 60 feet of you who can hear you. That creature gains 1 bardic inspiration die, a d6. Okay. Okay. So that's a bonus
you start
action.
playing, right?
Magnificent.
You, your ally starts catching in tune with your music.
And does that tap from my inspiration die?
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, and also, but that's just your bonus action. What are you gonna do with your action?
Then I think
I gave you kind of like your little surprise round here, but then
yes.
here comes.
I'm going to hit the
with
not
some
blinded one.
mocking.
Vicious mockery.
Vicious mockery.
Yes.
Nice. All right. Let's go ahead and see what his save is here. Oh, he rolled 13.
You are a lousy excuse for a highwayman.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He's like, what me? Oh, wait. You're short. You know. See a small tear goes down his cheek. Why don't you go ahead and roll some damage?
Okay. Looking at 4 points of damage.
You rolled a 4? Nice. All right. He's taken it back by the insult, and then Plath jumps into action, unless you were going to move or something.
Plath. No, I'm going to stay where I am.
Okay. Yeah, he just leaps off of the wagon, like parkours off the fucking horse. Let's go roll acrobatics for him and see if he just like eats it or not.
Sure.
He's trying to do a cool Legolas thing.
Right.
He does it. All right, and then let's go ahead
Magnificent.
and roll for his 2 attacks. Okay, 11 plus.
Oh, he gets 2 attacks.
Hit. Let's go ahead and roll
And he's got that.
damage here.
He's got that inspiration die on him as well.
Oh yeah. Nice. Well, he's not going to use that just yet
Okay.
because he swung and hit that time.
Very well.
Okay. He dishes out 12 damage. Blam! So he leaps off the horse, lands right in front of this guy, and the guy raises his blade to parry a top strike, but instead he sweeps under and like cuts him around the rib cage. Solid hit, sir. And then he reaches for a second attack. And this one he fails, but he's gonna use that inspiration die. Let's go roll that D8. And he hits! Okay, and so now he's gonna go ahead and dish out with his dagger. Wow. He's gonna do 2 plus. Okay, so he's gonna dish out another 6. Yeah, and this guy is looking like in pretty bad shape. He's like, oh, brother, you know, and the other guy is like, oh, I can't see nothing, you know, and then suddenly it's his turn as he's being assaulted by this elf driver, you know, he's gonna, so like, no, you're cross me, you're aiming that shit at the back of my head, no, over my shoulder, and then he's gonna go ahead and roll. He has to do this with disadvantage. Oh, that is total miss. And what happens is he trips and the thing fires off into the sky and he pretty much like ends up sitting on his ass.
Yeah.
Well, the guy's blinded, you know, and he's trying to reload while he's on the ground. They both kind of look at each other startled. And then that's when it's your turn again, sir.
I'm just going to get out here and circumnavigate the battle.
Okay.
And
Insult him in his ear.
No, and I'm going to just rob him. I'm just going to steal his rations.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and I'll do
money.
this versus his athletics
Yeah.
versus your sleight of hand.
Okay. Got it. And I think there is something about against a blinded opponent. But I don't recall.
Well, yeah, but
All
also though, there is something against if he's like actively holding something or actively wearing something. If you're just trying to dig into his bags, what are you doing?
Of course. Just grabbing at anything surface level. Like, definitely. But that does mean his full-on bag, which he will detect me trying to grab at.
Well,
you know,
he's
if he's got...
blinded, and the other guy's kind of busy with your elf friend. So I'm gonna say this is gonna be a flat roll.
Oh, okay. All right then. So, yeah. So.
Oh God, he just rolled a 2.
18.
No, don't take my things. So you start like grabbing his shit and everything.
Doing business with you. In a hell way.
You just hear him like cussing under his breath and stuff. It's like, brother, you know, as he's trying to like lock up another bolt into his crossbow, and he's just like super pissed. He at least knows the direction to aim it now because he felt the struggle and everything.
Yes.
And let's see, it's Plath's turn again. Here we go. Oh, crit. Oh God. And then we get to roll on the crit table. Guido's
Really?
fucking sadistic crit table. Where the fuck is my
Good night, everybody.
Okay. Okay. So he hits him for 16 damage, and then he. Okay, so this is pretty awesome. So the guy, he raises a sword, right? And then right as he raises his sword, he knocks his sword upwards, shoulder checks him, spins around, and lops off that guy's hand. You see the guy's sword clangs to the ground, and as the guy is like in shock, he looks at his sword hand on the ground. Yeah. And then he looks back at the elf guy, and he's like, "Remember this?" And he slides his dagger right up through the guy's throat, through his skull. You know, and then he pulls it out. That guy just drops to the ground, bloodied in a total fucking mess on top of his brother.
Oh man.
You know, the other brother, you know, he's still blinded.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, brother, I'm scared. What's going on? And you could hear from the bushes the approach of something, and it's growing and it's growing.
Oh no.
You see all of a sudden a huge swarm of these little fucking goblins start coming out from everywhere as they started hearing some of the commotion and they heard the wagon and everything. Yeah, and these guys are all starting to come from like every fucking angle here. And these guys are starting to, and they're getting very close to the wagon and stuff. And you see your rider, he immediately runs back onto the wagon. And he's like, Doink, we must leave.
Okay. Yes, I pick up my what do I call it? My plunder, and I.
You're just flipping it with a big ass sack over your.
Okay.
You're hoofing. You're trying to carry these things, and you see like a random cup falls out of the bag, and some of them are starting to savage the corpse of the guy who's up ahead, right? And you're hearing all these guys starting to you hear bones break. You're hearing all kinds of terrible fucking carnage going on, and that's right when you look to your driver, it goes like, yeah! And then you see the wagon just starts taking off as you have some arrows fly right past your wagon. And as you guys go off, and all these guys don't even necessarily care about you, they just want to get in on
They're just looking
this
for the
delicious
easy
fucking
meal.
bounty. And all you can do is look back at your kin.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. And finally, you start to make some distance between here and there.
Right.
And you're riding. You're getting closer to the gates, and you're starting to become more of a grotesque horizon. And as you look forward, you start approaching the gates. And then that's where we're gonna have our smoke break.
Yeah, we're gonna transition here. Yeah, all right. So who's this guy that can do that? Who's this guy that can do that, but also was willing to pay the toll? Like he's like, all right, like sure, I'll pay. Oh no, you've gone too far.
Oh, you could ask him.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, I'm wondering if this is somebody I know.
It's somebody who you've probably been traveling with for about a couple weeks.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Wow. Ooh,
It's a long way from Middleton, so.
yeah, a couple weeks now, you say? All right. Yeah, guess that means, what's this city again?
You're going to Deepstone?
Deepstone.
Yeah, Deepstone, where you've
Okay.
been hired.
Yeah. That's a dwarven name for a city if I've ever heard one.
It is.
Magnificent. All right. Dwarves. And whatnot, I'm sure.
So I had a very interesting LSD story I coaxed out of my dad. What do you got?
I once did a drug.
How scandalous.
Oh my.
Nothing. Nothing.
You're the kind of guy who goes into a party and goes like, 1 marijuana cigarette, please.
One, please. I'll take
And I would like
one
an alcohol as well.
drug. Yes, that's what we hear about.
One drug unit.
Yes, one drug, please.
For one person,
Yes,
single.
Yes, one. Thank you. I'd like to sample. Yeah, no.
All right, what's your favorite movie?
Oh my God. Well, just there I have playing Shichini no Samurai, Akira Kurosawa's 1952 classic, starring
Okay, let's talk about
Toshiro
that.
Mifune as the enigmatic wild man Kikuchiyo. Anyway.
No, talk about it.
what?
Okay, so what was so fucking awesome about this movie? I feel like I already know, but
I mean, you've seen it. You know,
I have.
You know.
I love the whole
And
kind
that's
of
the
like
whole conversation.
I've never seen it.
Oh yeah, it's like
Oh.
it's like
Get in
the Alamo, but Japanese with
Kinda, yeah.
yeah, and you know like you
that's
got
kind of
these
it. Basically,
samurai- yeah.
the premise is this group of poor farmers overhears this group of bandits who are planning to raid them once their crops ripen. So they're like, no, we can't afford to get raided by bandits, not again. It apparently happens to them pretty often. But they're like, well, what are we gonna do about it? And they go to their town elder, who tells them,
Kill him.
hire samurai, hire some wandering samurai, some Ronin who are willing to fight for food because that's all they have, and get them to defend their village. But the thing is, they send this small group of people out to the big city. They don't state exactly where they are, but they go looking in the city for samurai, and they get turned down quite a bit. They get turned down a lot because there are all these samurai with higher aspirations than just working for meals a day. They could be paid one meal a day is basically what the situation is. And but eventually they come across one samurai veteran. He, formerly of a powerful house of samurai before I guess that lordship ended. I think it takes place during, I don't know, the early part of the Meiji Restoration where things started falling apart. Anyway, but they meet Shimada Kanbei, who is, an old veteran warrior, and they first witness him doing a charitable act where he cuts his hair to disguise himself as a monk, which, I mean, casual viewers might not immediately recognize that's kind of a big deal. But yeah, he cuts his hair to disguise himself as a monk to save a child that was taken hostage by a bandit. And they witness him do this, and they're like, that's our man. And they basically go find him, and they explain the whole situation to him, and he's like, honestly, I'd be happy to help, and I can agree to your terms, but I can't do it alone. You're going to need at least 6 other warriors, and that's where they begin this process of trying to find a group of brave people who are willing to work for nothing.
Yeah, and
So,
it's
yeah.
a very fucking cool premise and everything.
Yeah.
Like I'm a huge fan of that one, and I love how it's like, just these awesome classic black and white movies that like are really well told and well written and everything. How about you, Sabbath?
What about me?
What kind of movies are you into?
Are you willing to defend my village for one meal a day?
No, not at all.
All right.
I like psychological thrillers.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's one of your favorites?
I don't have favorites.
Okay. Well, what's one that blew you away recently?
Yeah,
Or as recent as the last movie you saw?
What is a recent one I just saw?
I mean,
Have you watched any movies?
like,
recently?
okay,
Not recently.
would you consider like
When you
The
flip
Cell a
through-
psychological thriller with Jennifer Lopez? You know that one?
Yeah,
It's
a bit.
kind of a.
Yeah, a little bit. Or like
It's a good
Pandorum.
movie.
I don't know if
if
that's kind of like borderline. I mean, I guess it's horror, sci-fi horror, but it's also like a bit of like
some horror.
you're actually underwater. You're like, what?
Spoilers. Spoiler mark this. Spoilers.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, we need to have like an old chime come in and say like Guido's about to say something.
Guido's warning. Guido's about to say that they're actually underwater the whole time. Completely.
Or like,
useless
12
spoiler mark, I don't
Monkeys.
know.
Oh, that was fantastic.
It's a pretty good one. Did you
Oh,
ever watch the
Monkeys,
series?
I did not. I didn't know there was. Oh,
Yeah,
there was a series.
Yeah, there was a
Yeah.
series, and I didn't see it, but I don't know. I had some friends who were really into it. Sounded good. Did you?
Yeah, I liked it. It was pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
It was a bit different, though. The style of it was way different than the movie was.
Yeah, sure.
Definitely some good like story footnotes to potentially embark on
Yeah.
for campaigns and stuff. I don't know, maybe.
I think
Yeah.
the most recent movie I saw, I think it was called, what was it? It was like Nightmare Alley or Nightmare in the, I can't remember. the
Nightmare Alley. Yeah.
Nightmare Alley, yeah. With the carnies and stuff.
That sounds
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
Yeah,
I don't know
it
anything
was-
about
It was
it.
pretty interesting.
Yeah?
Through the whole movie, the tone is like very
stressful.
Oh,
like through the whole thing, you're always like, why? Why are you doing that?
Oh man, one of my favorites for like really stressful, like just kind of like I don't want to call it like passive stress,
Yes.
and just like building anxiety is The Invitation.
You
You guys see that one?
It sounds familiar. I don't know if I've seen it.
Invitation.
You know, a group of old friends meet up for dinner, and things start building up, and you don't know if the main character is crazy or not or what, and you know, maybe something happens. So
Unreliable perspective sort of situation. Okay. Yeah.
it's pretty awesome.
I did just see the Cyrano, the new Cyrano. but
Oh, how was it?
Regular. It was fine. I mean, it's a musical. Peter Dinklage is not really a singer, but
Is
he
it
played the role
Dinklage
well.
or I thought it was
Dinklage.
Dinklage with a K, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But he's not really a singer, but I mean, I like the way he played the role.
Yeah.
I still prefer the 1950 version with Jose Ferreira,
Yeah.
but yeah, I just yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it worked well. They actually expanded certain things that I thought that I was worried that they would like leave out. Like, but they missed a lot of opportunities and they took a lot of opportunities. So okay, yeah, like I'm like okay, they expanded some things I wish they did on the 1951. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
How about you, Ewan? Camera dude?
How about me? Movies?
Yeah.
Movies? Oh man. Recently I
Read any
saw.
good books lately?
Recently, should I turn my camera
Yeah,
on?
yeah, sure.
Alrighty. Oop. Recently, I saw Donnie Darko in the theaters.
Oh my
Oh, really?
god,
Okay, okay.
that's like one of my
a good
favorite movies.
sci-fi.
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
really
the
good show.
soundtrack's so killer too.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
soundtrack
Oh,
too. Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
You'd totally believe that it
In
was
the
filmed in the
theaters?
80s. Yeah. In Santa Cruz, there's a theater that does midnight showings of classic movies.
You went all the way down to Santa Cruz to see that?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Nice.
Yeah, I did.
Everything from that creepy bunny to fucking cellar door to fucking everything in there is
Cellar
just so wonderful. You know,
I really look at it as a science fiction. A lot of people don't. They look at it as like it's I guess a sci-fi.
I see it
Yeah,
as
definitely
partial.
has.
Yeah,
It's a
science fiction.
psychological science
Yeah.
fiction. I don't know. I feel that it also depends on what cut of the movie you're watching because there's a couple different ones.
The director's cut focuses much more on the, a spoiler warning, on the time travel element
Yeah.
of the whole thing.
Yeah, that's the one that I'm more familiar with. I think I've seen that one more times. I always wind up watching like director's cuts more than I watch like theatrical cuts in general. So.
Yeah, well, that's the guy behind, behind almost everything in the movie. And if it's, not edited down to the way he wants it, then it's not the same story.
Yeah, sure.
It's an amazing story.
Yeah.
Someone attempted to make a sequel.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
Sequel to Donnie Darko. Oh, I think I heard of
Darko.
that.
Oh,
Yes,
no.
right. I remember. Did that get a three?
His sister.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Her story.
Oh, I see.
Didn't that get like a theatrical release? I think.
I don't know.
I remember this.
started watching it and I couldn't
Straight to
Really?
DVD with
didn't
John
really-
Travolta workout videos.
Didn't really make a splash. I don't know.
It's in the behind the scenes of a workout video.
Oh my god.
That's the only place you can watch it now.
You go under extras, yeah. You get the full.
It's a shame because I like
Best Darko.
what's her name? That actress. Shit. Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, Gyllenhaal. Yeah.
She's pretty cool, but like, I guess I wouldn't touch Donnie Darko though.
Yeah, I don't know. It would be difficult to really make. I mean, you'd need to really like run that. I think by the original visionaries if you're going to do anything.
You can't even run it by them. You have to
think
have
you
them
can.
do it. You have to have them do it.
Pretty much. You'd have to work super closely with them to get anything that the original crowd that appreciated what they do about it to appreciate anything
Yeah,
more
right,
coming out of it. Like, it's crazy when I go back from like things I like when some sort of adaptation catches you and you're like, oh, that's pretty interesting. And then you see like the original material that it springs from and you're like, oh, they really messed this up. This is wow. Okay. So that was entertaining at the time. Now I just feel hatred for it because the original was so much better. And how did
Yeah.
they mess it up this bad? Well,
All right, let's go back in.
yeah.
Winded and tired, the two of you finally reach the gates of Deepstone. Glints of steel dot the walls on with the orange afternoon light, marking the various guards on shifts. You look at the address, you're supposed to meet your new boss. It's not far from here, but you have about an hour or so to kill. And before you, there's a view of haphazard buildings and people from all kinds of cultures and lineages.
Well, it's been a while since we've seen this much activity. I'm just going to say, I'm going to address my companion and just say it's good to be out of the woods again.
And he looks at you, he's like, indeed, my friend. He finally feels at ease enough to sheathe his blades and stuff, and...
But he's had him out the whole time?
You know what? He's that kind of guy.
Yeah. This is my
He's just so dramatic.
comfort sword.
Yeah, just super dramatic. Kind of the whole George Washington on the edge of the ship.
Yes.
Yeah, the driver hops out of the wagon with a couple of boxes. He says, like, approach the gates with me. Deepstone has had a lot of greenskin attacks as of late. And when the guards see you are with me, you may take your leave. He looks at you, awaiting a response of some kind.
Oh. I'm sure I'll be fine. They will know that they are in the presence of someone trustworthy, someone powerful as well. They're in the presence of Doink the Affordable.
And with that, why don't you go ahead and roll an insight roll?
All right.
4?
4.
You look him up and down as he's talking to you and everything, and you've been traveling with this guy for a couple weeks, and you know that, like, he seems kind of nervous about something, and he sees that you're kind of catching on when you're looking at him, and he's like, are you aware of the war on the smoke canopy jungles?
What?
So yeah, the Tabaxi farmers and the tribe folk have turned on the high elves who had originally enslaved them. And then you see he starts pulling up his cloak around his ears.
Oh, will that affect us? We're so far.
It may affect me. He looks kind of beyond the gates a little bit, and he's like, they've been winning that war for the past 20 years. Now the Tabaxi have switched roles. He gestures to an elven slave line that's being processed. He says, I can get a collar slapped around my neck, the same as those others, if I'm not careful around these parts. And that's why I have to make my delivery and go. Best of luck to you, my friend. And he firmly kind of tightens the cloak around his ears, and the guards have their hands on their weapons as the two of you approach the gates. One of them yells, like, what's your business here? The driver responds. He says, here to deliver a package to the Regal Acquisitions and a passenger to be hired by the Bothwell Estate Mining Company. They look at each other for a moment, and then you see one of them pipes up. He's like, is that a fucking goblin? Then one of the other guards knocks an arrow. You must be joking, traveler. Then he says, like, no joke. Send a message to Lady Miss Io Moon to collect her guest. The guards start to relax as one of them heads into town. A few moments go by before a centaur gallops up to the front. Like, the guards salute him, and they're like, Guard Captain Angus. And then, they all give him a salute, and he trots over and unfurls a scroll. He says, Doink? Doink the Affordable? And he looks at his scroll, and he looks back at you.
I curtsy.
Okay. And then he's still like looking at you after you curtsy, and then he looks over to the other guys, and you see some of them are kind of got some kind of like shit-eating grins and stuff. But then you see Captain Angus just does not like lose his he does not lose his bravado and stuff, and he just looks at the scroll and he starts reading. He says, "On the behalf of the Bothwell Estate and its tenants, you are hereby protected by the said bodies and are welcome to Deepstone until said bodies declare otherwise." And he rolls up the scroll and hooks it to saddlebags.
Splendid.
It says, "If you would follow me, Madam Doink, I shall escort you into town until you are brought to your affiliated house. You shall address me as Captain Angus." And a couple of guards look at each other and spit on the ground. Angus turns and stomps his front hooves. It's like, do you have something to say, Peacekeeper John? Immediately, the guards straighten up. No, no, sir. And then they look. Then they all look at you.
I give them all a polite nods, and I just turn to the captain and just say, "Lead the way, Captain."
Yeah, he looks at you and is like, "Shall we, Madam Doink?" And then he's pretty much going to be coming up right over here. Then he's going to be your escort, while this guy's going to go off to make his delivery.
Okay. All right. All right. So yeah. All right. I'm following him then.
All right. So, well, no, he's following you into the town. He's going to be your
following
escort.
me?
Yeah, he's going to be your
I see.
escort until you reach your estate
Oh, I see. Okay.
or your house. Why don't you go ahead and describe what the guards are actually looking at?
Okay, so yeah. All right, so as we make our way through the city, and I think I will take a diverging route from my friend there, just to give him his privacy past this slave line here. They're going to see me that I'm a goblin, but
But you're being escorted by the guard captain, so no one's giving you shit.
Yes.
And there seems to be a reason why he wants to trot alongside of you to kind of let the town know that you are under protection.
sure. But I'm a goblin woman dressed in pretty much as fine of finery as I could really travel in, like just otherwise a colorful. Almost a gown, really, but a little dress.
And describe your instrument.
My instrument, what I'm carrying with me, that I just pulled a large leather sheet off of, basically, is a harp, a handheld harp that largely undecorated, but yeah.
Well, why don't you go ahead and make a perception check real quick?
3.
3.
Yeah.
Well, it is your instrument that you've been carrying around with you. You probably wouldn't even notice anything different about it. But you're going into town, and where would you like to go? Are you gonna ask them where to find things? Where you're gonna go? You're gonna stop and get a meal? You're gonna stop and go purchase something? You wanna look around or have them describe things to you?
Ever so travel weary. I'm going to just parade about, get everyone used to my image for a minute, and then
so you're gonna stop and pose, and then
take it in,
walk
and
and
then
pose after another 30 feet.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Okay, so move your character around.
Yeah.
We'll see
Okay. So
who
I'm
you run
just
into,
going
and
to
I'll be interacting
actually
accordingly.
be just moving this way towards these guardsmen here.
Yeah. So you are trying to pass. You're passing around there, and you see there's one of the guards over there. It's not John, the guy who spat on the ground, but it's some lady that seems to be equally as welcoming. Guard Captain Angus kind of trots in between you guys as you guys make your way through.
Okay.
Are you going this way?
Yes, I'm continuing on this way once I do that.
We have a fairly large city here. Okay, yeah, you see passing by some tabaxi, and you're passing by some slave elves and stuff. You see all the elves are keeping their eyes on the ground. You come kind of close to one of the tabaxi, and the tabaxi looks at you. He's like, "Keep your eyes to yourself." You know, as he's escorting these guards in for processing.
Okay. All right. So I do. I look away. I just say, "Oh."
Yeah, and you see like the other one of the tabaxi looks over. Is like, "Looks like another Greenfoot." You know, as you're going through, passing by, they have their own little sly fucking comments and bullshit. Yeah, and as you pass by there, you're noticing that there's actually slave pens right over there. You're also seeing some housing. Where else are you headed?
Oh, I might have talked to them. You know, who is this over here? I'm seeing someone who seems to be in the middle of something interesting or spicy. I don't know.
Oh yeah, so you're just passing by. You see that there's a person up here. This looks like one of the one of the town mages. So you know that in some parts that are kind of dust, like kind of secluded like this, sometimes people might hire a cryomancer for the sake of putting out fires or keeping food fresh.
Okay. All right. So
Also,
they,
usually affiliated with local guards or peacekeepers.
so they actually get paid to go around to ice boxes and keep them cold.
Among other things, among also like defending the.
Oh, of course, yeah. I'm sure that their skills will be put to whatever combat or emergency needs they have. But all right.
So yeah, you're seeing all kinds of stuff.
Okay.
You're probably gonna be seeing some drunk tabaxi up inside this building. Probably drinking and stuff. Stumbling in and out of there. See some humans kind of coming in and out. You notice that there is sort of a style to a lot of the environments. Is that you're seeing lots of these like little tiny lantern houses that kind of light up parts of the city.
Okay.
It's kind of late afternoon, but they're starting to glow.
All right.
Yeah, very kind of Eastern aesthetic, and you're starting to notice that there's a lot of, well, why don't you go ahead and roll a perception for this?
Looking at 9.
9?
Yeah.
You see that lots of these, lots of the buildings have kind of very firm foundations. This is pretty obvious. When you're coming into Deepstone, this actually is like once was just a purely kind of Dwarven town.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so you're seeing some like Dwarven
There it is.
architecture here and there, but then you're seeing spots of other types of architecture along with the many different types of people.
So I might surmise from this possibly
Yeah.
a lot of immigration and influence.
And also you notice that people coming in and out of this building right here. So as you're passing by the tabaxi with the elven slave line, you're seeing lots of dwarves are stumbling in and out of here and stuff, and that's usually a type of person you, considering your race and stuff, really want to avoid.
Gotcha.
But yeah, you're coming through. Angus is with you. You're feeling fairly confident as you're going through. Where are you headed?
I thought I might try and get the attention of that cryomancer, possibly,
Okay.
and just ask, seemingly her, Miss, pardon me, Miss, where,
Oh, she looks at you and she kind of cringes, and then she sees that you're with Angus, and then you see her shoulders drop. She's like, "Yeah, what?"
What is that building there? I'm pointing at this one here with the.
It's like,
drunk
oh,
tobacco.
that's Clawstone Mining. Clawstone Mining, from Smoke Canopy Jungles.
Oh. I heard about that place. The one with the war.
Yep, they've turned every elf worth its weight with a sword is now worth its weight in chains, sir.
Oh. Well, where would I go to get num-nums for tunnel?
Okay, and then
Excuse me. Pulls out amulet and just is like,
then she looks at you kind of inquisitively, and then she looks at the
something to eat.
yeah. She looks at it, and then she sees the stone that you're carrying. It's like, communication stone. And then you see Angus looks down at you, and then looks at that, and kind of like shrugs. It's like, yeah, food. Through the market, there should be a wagon. It's Anita Fajita's hunger wagon.
Okay. All right. It's like, ooh, let's find that.
Yeah. So he starts escorting you through.
All right. Where
There you are. Yeah, go ahead and move the two of them.
Yeah. Where would I be?
So yeah, you're coming through there. You're seeing some people talking. You see stray dogs. Keep on going through, or you can actually go through the marketplace there?
Yeah, I
or-
likely will travel through the marketplace. I want to expose myself as much as possible.
Okay, so Angus will be kind of like...
if the
right
gossip
over-
is going to happen, I'd rather it start early.
Okay, yeah. So Angus is over there. He's watching you as you traverse through here. And you nearly bump into a dwarf, a dwarven woman. She has an emblem. In fact, most of the dwarves you've seen have a certain emblem and stuff. They all belong to some kind of specific house. Do you want to roll a history check?
No.
Okay, yeah, so you go through, you nearly bump into this woman, and she looks at you, and she's kind of like so kind of in shock of seeing like a goblin, especially up this close, you know? And like, it's kind of one of those moments where, you know, like you really want to like say something, but it's just not coming to you because you're just so caught like deer in the headlights that all she could really do is just stare at you like, with her brows furrowed, her head kind of going into her shoulders, kind of lurching back a little bit as you kind of walk past her. You know, and as you go through, you're seeing some kids, you see some deep gnomes and stuff like that. You're seeing lots of miners of sorts.
Really deep gnomes, okay.
Yeah, you're seeing
right.
some deep gnomes.
Huh.
Yeah, they're excellent miners.
Well,
Angus trots along the other side, you know, and people are taking note of him and taking note of you. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they're all like, you know, some people are rolling their eyes and whatnot. You know, as you continue making your way through, you feel the hot furnace of the Dwarven
there's a
smithing
forge
grounds.
there, isn't there?
Yeah. Forge and stuff, you know, and
Right,
they're all
smack
hammering
at
away,
the
making
center.
all kinds of weapons and
course they
stuff,
would.
and selling goods and everything. You even come across what's very strange. Have you ever seen something like a monodrome before?
monodrome?
Yeah, monodrome.
That's not one of those. No.
Yeah, well, it's pretty exotic and is very, very, very rare. I guess roll
I think I know what
history
this
check to
is.
see if you've even heard of them.
13?
Yeah, no, you look at these things, you're like, what the fuck are these things? You know, there's these like mechanical things that have kind of like, almost like bizarre kind of like almost like baby flesh surrounded by metal, and they're like kind of mechanically moving around, almost their movements almost seem like the ticking of a clock. You know how they walk around.
Yes,
and how they
rhythmic jolts. Yes,
yeah,
I've,
you know. And they seem to be looking at some sort of message board and stuff, and they seem to be doing something, but they're just so alien, it's not quite
Clear
too clear
what is-
what the fuck they are doing.
Okay.
And yeah, you see past them, you see the cart. And it says, Anita Fajita's Hunger Wagon.
Anita Fajita's Hunger
No,
Wagon.
right? Anita Fajita. You see a small girl in a green dress rapidly serving some dwarves some bangers and mash before she turns to the stove in her
Bangers
wagon
and
and
smash. Bangers and smash.
bangers
No,
and smash.
no, it's in the book.
She immediately turns to the oven, you know, and she immediately starts flipping some egg dishes. While she's busy, the dwarves turn, holding their meals and taking note of you. You see one who's just like, "Oi, get a load of this, brother!" And he grits his teeth and he cringes his eyebrows. Who the fuck let one of these things in the gates? You know, and he looks at you and he looks at the other dwarf, you know, and their beards like go down to their knees, you know. And it takes a moment before they realize that Angus is escorting you. He says, "Keep your prejudices to yourself, dwarf, and do not act upon them unless you want to make an example of violence on topsoil." Angus says with a snort. He stomps his hooves again. And you see the dwarf looks to his companion with fury before the moment is interrupted by the little girl in the wagon calling out, "Order up! Oh, you stumpies forgot your ales!" And you see the tension abruptly fades as they jog over to get their drinks. You can interact with the world if you want.
No, yeah, I definitely actually did want to offer up a potential. I just want to offer up a snide remark. I need a moment to think of one, but
Insert here.
Yes. Yes, I'm surprised they're letting in those with their beards kept so rattly in here as well. I totally agree.
You know, and you see like Angus like looks down at you and goes like, "What the fuck?"
What?
Like, yeah, totally.
I'm just saying, well, no. I'm saying, I was agreeing with them. I'm saying, who the fuck let one of them in here? I'm like, oh yes, I'm surprised that they let you in here with that mess growing from your chin.
A gnome picks up an order and walks off and looks at you since you're next in line, and she says, "Welcome to Anita Fajita's Hunger Wagon. What will you be having today?"
I opened fire.
What?
I meant something else. I'm going to ask, what's hot and filling?
Yeah, and she takes a moment to ponder, and then she looks and she sees Angus, and she's like, "Oh, hey, Angus, how's work?" And he shows her a tilting hand, and he's like, "Babysitting for now. Be back to my rounds in a little bit, I think." The little girl smiles at him before looking at you again. "So what are you having? You want some orc bacon, or you want something off the bone?" And she looks at you.
Do you have any soup?
She brings the dish over, but she keeps her hand on the plate. And then she's like, "Okay, how much gold you got?"
How much gold did it cost them? And I nod over to another table.
She looks at them and she looks at you. Is like, well, it depended on what they got. She wiggles her eyebrows. "This is how I do business." She sees the coins jingling in your hand, and she just like, she reaches for whatever you're holding.
And I'm going to just gently draw back and just be like, one moment.
She like,
Yes.
she pushes up her bottom lip, and she goes,
And they call our people uncivilized.
"Wait, did you say that?"
Yes.
Okay. She grabs the dish. She goes,
Okay.
"Which one of you ordered the onion soup?" She looks around and she's like eyeballing you as you're saying this. And then she's like, "Coins, coins,
Yes.
coins, time, time." And then she yells louder, "Onion soup up!" You see like some gnomes are starting to like look up from tables and stuff.
Yes, no, I absolutely won't be having it from her, though. There will be, there certainly is going to be something here. Trying to do something that wouldn't actually be necessarily a fight, but...
Oh yeah, you're right next to the guard captain.
Oh, I know. I know. And I was going to invite him to dine as well, and pay for a meal for him, but things didn't go for that.
Role play. Here we go.
Oh, well.
What do you do? What do you do?
Yes. I've got prestidigitation.
Okay.
I'm going to make every pot in there smell terrible.
Oh dear.
Just going to create an awful odor coming from whatever they have
But
there.
that's where you see some sigils light up along this edge of the wagon, and she's like, "Sorry, ma'am. While I'm within 5 feet of my wagon, me and my goods are protected. That's why no one's trying anything on a little girl like me."
Well, jeez. All right. Why this?
But you know what? Roll Arcana. Let's see if it bypasses it.
Let's see. If there's a
DC
failure
16,
chance for
bruh.
it. No.
Okay, yeah. So she looks at you with this kind of shit-eating grin. She sees you try your magics and it fails, and she's like, she looks at you and she's like, "You know what? Like, I like the cut of your jib. I like your moxie." She's like, "All right, I see you. And she slowly slides the plate back over, like, "This one's on the house, but I want you to remember this, all right?"
All right. Well, I would also invite, in this case, I'm going to invite the captain to dine with me and offer him that I do have coin and I will be willing to pay for his meal.
Oh, he's like, "I don't have to pay."
Well.
She makes me so. It's part of Peacekeeper's deal. And then she points a finger at him and she's like, respect there, It says like, "Yeah, like people didn't respect me until, my parents died. Seems like people are walking all over you too. Maybe you should show people that you're good at, show people that you're better at something than them. Maybe do something like me. Right now I'm cooking. I'm showing the best things that I got, Show the world the best things you got."
Best things I've got? Oh.
And then, like, maybe even before you're responding, you see a tall woman in a bandana comes up to pick up a cup of orc bacon. Have some of that wonderful orc bacon. I've already been munching on it a little bit, but I already got 2 pieces left, so.
Very spicy.
I'll put on some cayenne peppers, and this shit is fire.
Is this situation my utensil?
Let's rock with that. I kind of want to watch you eat it now. Okay, so
Stop. It just further emphasizes my small
So
hands.
this,
Stop looking at my tiny baby hands.
So yeah, the tall woman who's coming up and picks up the orc bacon, you know, she's got long hair tied back in a bandana, you know. If you look at her bandolier, she's got like bandolier of all kinds of like half sticks and full sticks of dynamite. And it looks like she has you've never quite seen this before. It looks like striking stones that are kind of bound together for her to like kind of like immediately ignite things, you know, when she needs to.
Like, just in her hand or like?
It's hooked onto her wrists.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty cool rig. She picks up the orc bacon and she's like, "Thanks, Anita," she says before spilling a few coins onto her counter. The woman stops holding up her cup of crisp candied bacon, and she slowly turns to you and does a double take. And she looks at you. She's like, and then to Angus, then to you again, and she's like, "Weird." Then she walks off to what appears to be a grand opening next door to the estate that you're supposed to be checking into.
Oh. Apparently, I have an errand here. I was just going to.
So yeah, she seems to be walking off over here.
I was just going to go pick fights with locals, but all right.
Yeah, I guess do that too. Yeah. At that moment, you see like Angus is looking around. He sees that you're served and stuff. He's like, "So, like, is there any other place you wish to visit before I drop you at the house?"
No, I think you've done your job here.
And then you see like a wash of like relief comes over him. You know, and he says like Angus looks at the Bothmore estate, and then he asks, he says, "Madam Doink, it may behoove us to check you in so we may get on with our lives." And then, you know, he's escorting you, I guess. You got soup in hand.
Yes. I'm just
Hey, yeah. So you pass by the
in
job
there,
board
I
and you
guess
go
I'd
right up in here to your
on.
check-in spot. You see Angus waits for you outside, make sure there's no trouble before he can go back to his shift. And let's make cool transformer noises.
Yep.
Yeah, you pass through the Tory gate of the Bothmore estate, and Captain Angus waits for you to go inside. You enter the building and you look around only to see a bartender and the most peculiar thing you've seen in a very long time. Before you, there is an animated open book with an origami person standing in attention facing you.
Origami, what were they?
Come over, take a look. Got some cool minis here, man.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. And so you're looking at this origami person that's like facing you.
Okay.
You take a moment to assess if it's like a sculpture of some kind.
As far as origami, that's bigger than I am, so I'm just,
It's a very large, it's like a life-size, like
Okay.
human origami person.
wow.
See, there's lots of
Okay.
writing going up and
Gotcha.
down its body. And what's so interesting is as you're looking at it, the writing and stuff that's like all over its body seems to be shifting and changing, almost like a spell scroll of some sort, you know?
Okay,
All over
okay.
its body.
Is it written in magic, like the
It
magic
is.
script? So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to roll some roll
that be
origami?
Arcana?
Roll Arcana.
Okay.
Roll origami.
Rolling origami. There's sheet coming up. Let's see. Arcana. It's a 10.
It's a 10. Can't quite tell, but you recognize enough because you are you are
Magic
a mage of some
literate.
sort. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, and the patterns are changing too fast. But you recognize that these are actually just a bunch of different types of spells, like actual spell scrolls and stuff. This is actually, it looks like a living spell book.
So this is
This thing addresses you and then it says, "May this one help you?"
hi. This one may. I was summoned here for.
Identification confirmed. Doink the Affordable. You are expected on the stage in 1 hour. End episode. Okay, cool. All right, and that's all we have for today. And I hope you guys check in for future episodes of Chronicles of Farfall. Are you getting this, Sabbath?
Oh, yeah.